So today I have a story about one of the guys, one of the humans ever produced. Because as you read from the title, yes, this dude, his room was absolutely disgusting. And a subscriber who sent in the story via my email, by the way, if you want to send in your own, you can do so at rajbusiness@gmail.com. He was absolutely disgusted and just downright shocked at what he witnessed. I'm 100% sure you will enjoy today's story, so make sure to stick through the end to know what will happen. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So today's story has been sent in by Michael, and it all started when Michael moved away to a different state. He moved all the way from Florida, Miami, all the way to the Midwest to Missouri. And well, you see, not only the location was different and the high school was different, but also Michael felt that all the people involved, all the people were all different. Like, there was this whole nother vibe going on all around him. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I think about Florida, for example, I think about Florida man, which is kind of like, the meme man. The average Floridian who always is bound to get in trouble some way or another. But yeah, of course, that's anecdotal evidence and an anecdote. Like, not everyone in Florida can be this crazy, and I don't think that Michael is the crazy one in this story. I think it is the subject, the main protagonist of his story, which I will talk about later. So yeah, Michael moved with his sister and his parents to Missouri, and soon he enrolled in high school, and nothing was really wrong. The teachers were welcoming, and he quickly made a lot of friends. And Michael started talking about video games with some lads during lunch break, and he also told me in the email that everyone was kind of geeky, kind of like him too. He was also kind of geeky, but on the outside, not as much. He was kind of geeking out about some things, some nerdy things like anime and video games, but he was kind of a casual gamer, so he was not that into video games. So yeah, not really like the obsessive type, So anyways, all in all, Michael was like really happy that the people in his school were very welcoming to him, because in the past he had some run-in with some other kids who found him a bit too nerdy, a bit too geeky, they didn't want to be friends with him, the jocks. And he also told me that he couldn't quite fit in with any group because he was kind of in the middle of being a jock or a nerd, So yeah, that made him all the more happier. And one kid in particular of, his friend group, his new friend group, he just vibed with him so well. I mean, he was a bit on the bigger size. The kid was like not morbidly obese or anything, but he was definitely plus size. But that didn't really matter because the kids were also his friends, in the friend group, and nobody really cared about how anyone looked or what they did. Basically, everyone was just so accepting in that friend group, which Michael just loved. So anyways, after he settled in for like a couple of months, 4 months later, he got to the plus size kid. His name was Leo, by the way. He invited him to his place to play video games and to watch anime. Now, you see, Michael was really bored. There wasn't much to do, and it was almost vacation. It was almost Christmas, so he was like, well, why not? I will go to Leo's place to play some video games. And like, he wasn't really an anime fan per se. Like, he watched the regular ones, the Dragon Ball Z's of this world, and maybe like the One Punch Man. Basically the mainstream stuff. But you see, Leo was very kind, and he was like, and Michael thought to himself, well, I mean, I guess I can become an anime watcher. I don't really care. Everyone here is so welcoming, and I'm already kind of a geek, so, it doesn't really matter. I can just be myself. So anyways, fast forward, it's the weekend where Michael got invited by Leo, and he was very hyped to go to Leo's place. He was kind of nervous though, because he didn't really know Leo's parents. He didn't really know if they were nice at all. And to be quite honest with you, that's always like the most awkward phase. I mean, anything higher than that would probably be meeting the parents of your new significant other, like boyfriend or girlfriend. Like that shit, I mean, honestly, it will just scare the shit out of me. It's like the next level awkwardness, right? Anyways, Leo invited Mikey, and my boy Mikey, he went to his place and he did not expect to see a trailer. So like, Leo's parents were actually living in kind of like a mobile home. It was kind of semi-mobile, you can say. And Michael wasn't really rich himself, or at least his parents, but they were kind of like middle class, so they lived in a regular home, which also wasn't that big, of course, but he didn't really think much of it. So anyways, as Michael approached the house, he could kind of see that below the house there were some animals there, some dogs. So like the house was standing on these, pile of bricks. And when he looked at the dogs, I mean, he could clearly see that the dogs were very not healthy at all. They were like way underfed and everything. And he was honestly just very shocked. And there were like a lot of animals on that property. So yeah, the dogs came out to greet Michael and they were sniffing him and everything, and he was petting them. And while he was doing that, Leo's dad opened the front door and greeted him. He was very welcoming, nothing wrong with that. He wasn't strict at all. And behind him, Leo was like looking at Michael and he was like, "Hey, what's up, Mike? Come in, please come in." And like, okay, so the next detail is kind of, quite extreme. Because you see, as Leo was standing in the door frame and Michael came a bit closer, he noticed a absolutely disgusting smell of cat pee. And I mean, like, oh my god, I am so traumatized of this smell, because I remember I had extra tutoring outside of high school for like English. And oh my god, the girl that gave me English, she was like kind of a student or like a assistant professor or anything. But like her apartment had like the baddest like cat piss stench ever. It was literally ingrained in the floors, in the walls. Like she literally gave me a cup of tea and the cup of tea was my only like savior. I was holding my face close to the tea like myself, so like I wouldn't have to smell the cat pee. Like the tea was literally like the masker of the cat piss smell, basically. But yeah, I felt so damn bad for Michael while I was reading this, because I mean, you don't want to be rude, you're welcomed by these people, and even though they probably don't really care for their animals that well, judging by the smell and like the state of the dogs they had. So yeah, Michael entered, regretted it, but still stayed. And well, sadly, the house was just as bad as the outside, because you see, he was literally walking inside of a garbage can. It was that bad. Like, the parents did not throw away anything, it seems. They were like massive hoarders. There were carton boxes everywhere, cat food boxes, you name it. Old McDonald's garbage. And like Michael felt the worst secondhand embarrassment, like he was just looking at the floor because he couldn't stand to witness this. He was thinking to himself, oh my god, what the hell, where am I, this is like not real. This location comes straight out of a TLC documentary. But you see, the worst is yet to come, because Michael entered Leo's room and regretted it instantly, because he just got traumatized by the amount of filth that was in that room. Apparently there was literally green mold growing between like where the ceilings and walls touched each other. Like, oh my god, it was so bad. And apparently he also had a lot of holes in his wall, because apparently he had like these plastic walls that were just very poor build quality. And his computer setup was just the filthiest thing ever. Like, I already see it before me. It's literally like this picture, probably. Absolutely disgusting. And thank God he did not have any closed off piss bottles. Because you see, Michael thought of that documentary of like hoarders and like gamers basically storing their own pee under their, I don't know, desk or something. Like, I'm just almost too disgusted to talk about this, but like, I'm just this close into ending the video, because you see, I'm kind of a germaphobe myself. Back to the story, Michael was absolutely just done with everything. He was standing in the middle of this garbage pile of a room, which was even more packed than the entire house, garbage-wise, hoarding-wise. And he told Leo, sorry Leo, I'll have to come back another day because I totally forgot I have to go to the dentist. Which was obviously a lie. And Leo looked at him, he dared to look at him and told him, I don't really know if that's the truth. Are you really speaking the truth? And Michael straight up looked at him and was like, no, maybe I'm not. Goodbye. And he just left the house. He just stormed out of the house. And I mean, to be honest, I probably would have done the same, because I don't want to sit in stink and jeopardize my own health. I mean, don't get me wrong, a guest is a guest, but come on, you have to have a safe environment. But thank God the story has a happy ending, because you see, Michael actually told his parents about the situation Leo's parents and Leo himself were in, and he told them basically that he was a massive hoarder and like Leo's whole family was like hoarding massively. And Michael's mom actually knew, like, she had a friend and she was a psychologist. And Michael actually asked the psychologist friend if she could help them for free, because they didn't really have it easy. And turns out it was quite wholesome because they used the hoarding to, kind of cope with the troubles in life. Sometimes you can't really blame people for hoarding because it's just a mental thing. So all's well that ends well. The best way to support my channel is to binge watch my story videos. They are showing up on screen right now. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button. It would mean the world to me. Subscribe if you are new on the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good day and peace out.